For this session, I wrote 20 words. For this session, I wrote 63 words. For this session, I wrote 59 words. Between Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, I think I've written about 10,000 words, 1,200 of which were viable, and the other 8,800 being part of the lead up into the viable bits. These words are for my other creative projects, which I write more sporadically in than for my primary manuscript, which I write in daily. And so on a month-by-month basis, though it seems like I write very little, I actually do write quite a lot, though not specifically toward one project. It has been interesting to compare these parallel journeys of writing for different projects. My primary one, I write intuitively, but with more structure in that I write in it every single day. And then my other projects, I write at whim, whenever I feel. And for those projects, the structure is more of an embedded aspect where I am following a bit more of the traditional methods of writing. Even with these other creative projects, I am still not a full outliner. I take notes of some of the ideas I want to think through more thoroughly, that I would want to weave into the story down the road. But beyond that, I try not to uphold myself to a rigid outline format because that does not work for me. I've reflected on this idiosyncrasy, and I really do think it's because that I am a better organizer in my head than writing it out. I feel like my mind captures the nuances of the gist of my fragments of thought better than I could ever articulate it on paper. And trying to articulate that level of thought onto paper becomes so tedious and draining that it really detracts from me the ability to write more of those beautiful sentences that I desire to write. Without an outline, however, it can be quite difficult to keep track of all of the ideas and their considerations. My workaround to that is to address one segment at a time, and then I deal with organizing those pieces later. So I don't really concern myself with this has to be chapter 1, this has to be chapter 2, or chapter 3. I more so write out the segments randomly almost to the best of my ability, and then later I reorganize them to however the segments best flow and fit. I think today's gonna be a shorter vlog. I don't really feel like I have much more to say other than a brief update that I have been continuing with my 3 a.m. experimentations. For now, I am keeping it at a once or twice weekly thing, and I am enjoying the variety it adds to my week. I just remembered this week I also did experiment with trying to stay up until 5 a.m. just to compare the feeling of waking up at 3 and getting my day going or staying up later. And I definitely prefer waking up at 3 than trying to stay up till 5 a.m. That was rough. I'm going to get to my writing session, and once I have that done, I will add that clip at the end. For this session, I wrote 100 words. And that is a wrap for this vlog.